This is a 2000 Honda Civic CX. Now, when you think of a high schooler's first car, it's hard not to think of the Honda Civic. Spanning over 40 years and many generations, the Honda Civic is a powerhouse of the Honda brand. Parents like them because they have decent power, they're easy on insurance, they're reliable, and when things do break, they're pretty easy to work on and parts are plentiful. And when you're a high school kid working part-time at McDonald's, a 6th Gen Civic has such a small gas tank, it is cheap to fill. But the Honda Civic has become so much more than a high schooler's first car. They've turned into a catalyst for a whole car culture. Because of their easy modification and plentiful aftermarket part catalog, people are free to turn their Honda Civic into whatever they desire. You have the guys with stance out scraper parking lot queens to the sleepers that spend all their money on the engine and couldn't care less about the cosmetics. Of course, you have your average Joe who has their Civic because of how cheap they are and easy to steal. In fact, the Honda Civic is the most stolen vehicle in the United States. A little fun fact for you kids. The 6th Gen Civic came in so many different badges and engine combinations. It's like listening to an elderly man with Tourette's and a love for the letter X to get through them all. But here we go anyways. So, from bottom to top, you have the CX, DX, LX, EX, and SI. Or if you're not from the United States, the SI is SIR or Type R. You also have the oddball Civics like the HX, GX, and VP, or even the HF if you're going a little far back. Those badges, you got different variants of the D16 motor, D16Y5, D16Y7, the VTEC D16Y8, and if you had the SI, you got the double cam B16A2. And the GX, one of the oddballs, got the D15B5 because it used natural gas, but we don't need to talk about anything like that. So all these engines made a moderate amount of horsepower, from the smaller 106 to the B16's 160, and all of these engines was paired with a combination of either a sloppy 4-speed automatic, and I know some guys are going to hate me, they're going to be really angry, but I'm going to say it anyways. It's a pretty sloppy 4-speed automatic, or a tight 5-speed manual that acquired a grind in the 3rd gear. And if you guys have the option out there, I highly suggest getting a manual over the auto, because it's just the manual it feels better, it reacts more efficiently, and the power is used more properly. Driving the 2000 Honda Civic is actually kind of refreshing. In a time where loads of computer assistance with cars, it's nice to get into something a little older and just drive it. There is, some mechanical assistance in this car, but not enough to steal from the overall driving experience. And there's nothing really like jumping to a 90s Honda and just revving the crap out of it. Now, I don't want you guys to think that I love these cars. These cars do have their fair share of problem. I just believe that, when you think of a daily driver, it's hard not to think of the, Honda Civic. Now, some of these problems I brought up earlier include mostly transmission issues, such as the automatic transmission not shifting properly, not shifting out of certain gear, or just not moving the car at all. There are even some cases of the car being in park with the parking brake engaged, and the car just straight up rolls downhill and hits people's houses. So when I heard about this, every case I found of this happening, the car was parked on a pretty steep driveway, so, take it or leave it. The manual transmissions also had a handful of problems, though, ranging from my earlier example of grinding in the 3rd gear, which actually happens quite frequently, more frequently than you would ever think, to popping out a 5th and burning up reverse. Another big problem with these generation Civics is they seem to really hate their exhaust manifold, especially if you have the Manicat, where the manifold in the catalytic converter is like one big old solid hunk of metal. You just get that crack right down the middle, and they just get too hot and they crack up. But like I said earlier, the good thing about these cars is that when something breaks, it's often cheap to repair or replace, and somebody with common automotive knowledge can usually do it in a driveway. So the question is, would I recommend the 6th Gen Civic to people for a daily driver? And the answer is, yeah, I would, and I often do when people ask me. Because, sure, they're a little old and they have not a lot of power, but the 6th Gen Honda Civic is such a good mix of qualities that anybody in any pocketbook can really take advantage of. So now that's out of the way, I'm going to use the rest of this video to talk to you guys about my favorite thing about these Civics, or really any Civic in general, is the level of customization you can take to them. For example, the car I'm driving in this video, it's lowered, it has aftermarket muffler, it has front and rear strut bars, it has an air intake that's been modified, wheel spacers, it has that little star tow hook in the back, and the owner has even painted the valve cover pink and the wiper arms pink just to add to the sense of ownership and individuality of the car. And you know, in my opinion, that's the cool things about these cars, is that with a little bit of money you can change them to, you know, anything that really fits your needs, fits your styles, or anything you want. Okay guys, so that was my review of the 2000 Honda Civic CX. So in the future, I'm going to be trying to get a manual version of this car so I can show you guys the difference between them. But for now, thanks for sticking around, thanks for watching. Come back to the channel in the future. I'm going to be trying to get videos out every single week, so, you know, come check them out. Remember to subscribe if you like what you see. Have a nice day, guys. What's up, guys? This is Tyler, and down here we have little Yoshi. So Yoshi would really appreciate it if you guys like the video that you just watched, if you would hit that like button and share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it with your mom. Maybe your mom likes car videos. I don't know. You don't know. You don't know until you try. Yoshi's also a camera whore. Look at her. Camera whore.